So it is October 5th, Saturday, 2014, and I'm going to kind of sum up my week. So I've got my hearing aids in, and again, you really can't even see them. There's like a little line, and then you see like the wire in here to keep them in, but I mean, I had them in since Tuesday, and it wasn't a big deal. Like, nobody really even... You know, I discussed it with one or two people just because, like, my boss just said, hey, and he's like, hey, I noticed them, but, anyway. These are the notes I wrote down yesterday at the meeting. And this was, room of 30 people. Normally, I'd have just been exhausted. And I wasn't. So I said, brain started to struggle, but then I understood. Like, someone would say something, and I'd start to go, what? But before I could say what, my brain went, oh, they said this. And it was like, oh, I understood you. I don't have to ask what you said. But I didn't expect to. And one time I thought I heard somebody say, I did a presentation. I did like a 30-minute presentation. And but I had to, we asked, this is, not customer facing, so it was employee side. So guys asked a lot of questions on the presentation. So the person said, well, your presentation was long because I covered 3 different parts. I thought they said your presentation was wrong. And I heard it, and I went to say something, and my brain went, no, they said long. And I went, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I didn't have to... And then the next part of the conversation was, you covered these 3 parts, and, we went into it deeper. So, but I understood what they said. I'm not as tired. I did not drink a single energy drink through 3 days of meetings. I had them ready. And I kept bringing them out of my backpack and putting them back in the hotel fridge and didn't drink them. So that was cool. Body language more relaxed. One of my coworkers who I talked to about this because he's worked very close with me, and he said, look, I've known him for six some odd years, and he goes, you've never looked that relaxed in a meeting. I'm usually tense, and I sit there and I spin in my chair, and I didn't. And it, again, this is not like a magic bullet. It's just that I don't have to work as hard. I don't have to strain to pay attention as much. Is the best way I can put it. Like my brain just understands now instead of having to because I hear great. I have great hearing. Sometimes too good, because now I'm really starting to notice my tinnitus, whatever it is. Really starting to notice it this week. And I'm going to talk to them and make sure I'm not doing something wrong with the hearing aids. But I've always heard great. It's just I just wouldn't understand it, and I just thought it was what it was, and I didn't realize I could do anything about it. Again, more aware of my tinnitus. That was actually the next thing. No energy drinks, paying better attention. I wasn't getting distracted and lost by all the other noises in the room. I actually got one of these are Widex, the ones I'm demoing. I actually got one of the little microphones they have. And I had got on eBay, overnighted it, and because I needed to see if it worked, and I put it up for part of the meeting where the person was speaking, and they're small, it's a little square, and literally everything they said went right into my ears, and so I didn't have to fight people shuffling papers but no, I could hear everything around me. I could still hear it, and I even with it put right in my ears, I could lean over and say something to the guy next to me, and I could hear what they said back. And if I wanted to, there's a little slider on the app where I could say I want to hear the surrounding sound, or I want to hear the sound from the little microphone. I could adjust all of it, but I could do both, if that makes sense. Normally I just had to work. It sounds stupid, but I just had to work too hard. I just didn't. Like I said, it's not magic. It's just easier. There was a part where I was listening to a presentation, and there's a lot of noise in the hallway. But I put that, we were in another room, and the presentation was on a TV, and there's a speaker above us, so I put that little microphone just like right out in front of me. And while I could hear them laughing and having fun in the hallway, it didn't distract me as much because I had everything being put in my ear so I could pay attention to what was going on, and I didn't have to like fight it. I didn't have to fight it. I don't know how I should say it. It just didn't have to fight it. I didn't need to watch people's mouths as much. I don't lip read. Kind of wish I would. Every time I watch football and I look at the refs, I'm like, first and 10, got it. Anyway, and voices behind someone talking, I could still understand the person in front of me. There's some behind them talking, but the person in front of them was talking to me, and like I could tell. Now, we got done yesterday, and I went to lunch with my coworkers to a bar. Anybody who knows me, I always come up with an excuse not to go to lunch or dinner or whatever if I can. You know, I'm not the most social person in the world, but it's always just because it's so much work. I mean, literally, it was so much work. And I went, and I tried different things. I tried just the hearing aids. I tried the hearing aids with the microphone. And then I tried no hearing aids, nothing, just normal me. And because, you know, I'm a scientific, like, if I'm going to spend $4 or $5 grand on these damn things, they better freaking work. You know, they better do something for me to literally change the quality of my life. And so I started with just the head, or just the hearing aids in, and, you know, then they like started playing music behind us, and that was great. That was so, I mean, it's a bar, it is what it is. But like the people right in front of me, the people to my side, I did turn my head a little bit, trying to pick up with the microphones on the hearing aids, but I could just hear what was going on. And then I put the microphone down in the middle, and one of the guys who doesn't know what's going on yet, because I mean, I was like, hey, I've got hearing aids, but I'm going to talk to my coworkers that I work with every day on Monday about it. But again, I wasn't going to mention it and bring it up to a bunch of people if I didn't need it, if I wasn't going to use them, if it wasn't going to, there's no point in it. But one guy, he goes, what's that? I was like, oh, it's just a microphone. I'm just trying something out. And I could just, even with the music, and that was the problem. That was the one problem. The speaker, you can do it directionally, like if you flip it up, or if you lay it down, it picks up everything around it. The speaker was right above us. So, I mean, I was hearing, you know, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect thing for it. What I did realize today is on my iPhone, their iPhone has some really nice things. It's got a hearing aid. It's under accessibilities, which is where the audiologist set it up. But I didn't realize there's a thing called Live Listen. And I just like turned it. I was like, what does this do? And Apple has their own background noises, so you can do waves and everything else, which, again, when I'm hearing that ringing in my head, which I've noticed a lot more this week. I don't know why, but I can try to play something to, you know, get it to go away. But it doesn't go away. It's always there, but get it to be less noticeable. But my iPhone has a Live Listen button, which makes it a microphone. So what I realized, and I've only really tried it out at the house, is I took it and I went and set it up by the sound bar for our TV. I just set my phone next to the sound bar with it on Live Listen, so I could have the sound bar really low, but it was picking up the noise. My phone was picking up the noise of the sound bar. It was going right in my ears. Now, the problem with that is if somebody says something, like, I'd be like, oh, I got to get my phone and turn, you know, it's not perfect, but it was nice to like, and there's no delay. There's another way I can do it where I pair the little box with the TV, but there's a delay, and it was annoying. I did it for like 30 seconds. I was like, I can't do this. But if I pair it with my hearing aids, there's a way for me to do it. I haven't figured it all out yet, and I'm not sure if I'm sticking with this brand. I'm gonna go back and see. But the important point is, I went to lunch with my coworkers willingly, and I left and I drove home with a smile on my face. I cannot describe to you what that is like for how I normally would be in a situation like that, where I was just overwhelmed, and I thought this was all just how it was. I mean, I thought it was just part of my Asperger's autism diagnosis, and apparently it's not. And today I took my kids to a local carnival fair thing, and I wasn't the one who said, let's go home first. Now, these don't do any kind of noise cancellation. And I try to like play my music through them, but they don't play loud enough. So, I mean, it really didn't work to like play my music and like have all the carnival stuff going on around. I mean, there's different tips. Maybe I can get different tips for situations that block out noise better. I'm going to ask on that. But I wasn't the one, normally it's me, who says, hey, y'all ready to go? It was actually my daughter who was like, it was hot, it's 90. But I was like, I didn't force my kids to go home before they were ready because I was overwhelmed. And that was a good feeling. That was a feeling of not being a burden. I know I can be a burden because of how I act sometimes. I know I cannot be the best person to be around. I feel horrible for the things I've put my wife and family and her family and my family through over the years because I didn't know how to handle and cope situations, because I couldn't tell anybody what I was feeling because I didn't know that I shouldn't be. I didn't know that I had a choice. I didn't know that I could change my situation, and it appears I can. So, yeah, if you have auditory processing disorder, and if you have, autism like me, there's a little bit of hope, maybe. I mean, I'm making these videos because this is the video I wanted to see from somebody going through what I'm going through. This is what I wanted to see, and so I'm sharing what I'm going through. Now, if anybody's ever going to see it, I don't know. But yeah, if anybody, I'm going to leave the comments open. I guess I'm going to post this as 3 separate videos. I guess I'm going to keep posting. If there's anybody who ever watches this, I might post it. Obviously I've got to go back this next week. I'm going to try to go back to the original doctor who did my hearing test, who I really owe a debt of gratitude. I'm going to see, like, look, this, I found some financing to do for the hearing aids because they're expensive, and she's not through my insurance doesn't cover this anyway. So I'm just going to go back and check with her and see, like, hey, do you have something better than this? And if it's close on the price, even if it's a little more, I'll figure it out. I'll sell some cool stuff I have in the garage to pay for it. I don't care. Because this last week, my quality of life is, as I have a friend who's a speech therapist, and that was the word she used when I talked to her about what's going on. My quality of life is better. And looking at the price, divided over 3 years, whatever the warranty is what I experienced this week worth $3 or $4 a day? Hell yeah, it is. It absolutely is. So, if you were going through what I'm going through, if you think you're going through what I'm going through, I have a coworker who I talked to about this, and the situation I was experiencing and describing, he's a very, very cool character. I mean, top notch, one of the best guys I know. And he said, I feel the same way sometimes. He goes, but I took a hearing test and they said my hearing's fine. I'm like, dude, my hearing's great. It's not your hearing, it's your understanding. I'm like, I begged him. I was like, look, I can't tell you how good this week was for me. How normally I would be just destroyed after one day of meetings, not let alone 3. And I drove home smiling. I drove home from a 3-day meeting smiling. I was in a good mood when I got home. I wasn't mad. I didn't actually take anything out of my kids because I brought frustration home. It was nice. So yeah. So I hope somebody sees this and it helps them. If you need help, get help. That's all I'll say.